Hello everyone. Today I'm gonna repair the focusing mechanism for manual focusing on my 82-200 f2.8. This is the AFD version, so basically it's the middle one. You had two different push-pull versions, and after this one came the AFS version. That one also has some issues with the focusing motor for the autofocus, but this one is known to have issues with manual focus and with the ring for switching between manual and autofocus. So I just peeled back this rubber because it's very sticky. Somebody looks like somebody was in here before me. There's also this plastic ring around here that I removed. And here you have the culprit, why your manual focusing won't work anymore. So you have two holes here. The little tab was in this one, and here you can see these are broken off. So the metal spring doesn't engage the focusing mechanism. Here you can see the spring rests in one of these spaces. And basically when it breaks, it doesn't engage anymore, so your focusing ring spins freely and it won't turn the focusing anymore. But you have one spare slot. This one is, I believe, for the autofocusing, so this one engages when you switch to autofocus. And what you have to do, I actually thought I'm gonna have to tackle this repair differently because I saw somebody was in here, and what people do is basically the spring, these little tabs break off in one slot, they put it in the other one, they take like a soldering iron or something and melt these little pegs again, so it's held in there, or they use epoxy. That's what I saw on some forums. People say they use epoxy basically to glue this in. But the minus is if you want to ever disassemble this lens again, then you have epoxy, and you have to be, of course, careful. And epoxy does take a few minutes for some types or some hours to cure. So you have to exert pressure for that time on here, so the spring is flat. So what I thought was basically to use screws to screw this in, but this tab is still fresh, so I'm gonna go with the method of heating up a pin and just melting these two posts again and making basically rivets. So I'm just gonna make sure I have this depressed all the way. Yep, and as you can see now here on the focusing scale, it does engage like it should. So once again, just make sure it, now it popped out. I have this little tool that's round and flat on one side. So what I'm gonna do is heat it up a bit and just flatten these posts. I have this little Dremel. It's basically a soldering iron and also like a mini heat gun. This will produce a flame, and I can, let me just remember, I haven't used this in a while, but as you can see, it's well used. Okay, it's heating up now. I hope I don't burn my fingers. Yeah, that's not hot enough. That's not hot enough. I ran out of gas, basically. Do I have any more gas for this? I'm not quite sure. I'll have to check. Let me check. So I managed to find some gas for this Dremel tool, and I found a different end for it. As you can see, this one is basically unused, and yeah, this one is maybe just a tad too big, so I'll have to do it off camera. But what I'll do is I'll heat this up, and then I'm gonna just press this down. Okay. Now it's heating up. I'm gonna wait. Oh yeah, this works nicely. As you can see, I have pressed this one down, and now onto this one. Just have to be careful because there is a jet of hot air coming out of it. And that's it. Yep, that's fixed now. Onto a few more years of service. And another thing that happens with this lens, I forgot if I mentioned it, this ring breaks. It like totally breaks. So to get replacements, I suppose you'd have to contact Nikon, as this lens is still sold new. And this little button breaks, that's all actually the major issue. So what happens is there's a spring behind it, and the spring either deteriorates or just gives up, and the button falls in, and you can't lock it in your auto position. So whenever you hold the lens, you might knock it out. And what you can do, just like I did here, is just put a little O-ring if you have, or purchase it. Just put a little O-ring around it, just so it props it up. And now I had a O-ring that was actually too big, so I doubled it over. And it's a bit stiff, but at least you can't knock it out by accident anymore. So yeah, that's it. Let me just put this band here back on. So where was this glued onto? Doesn't really matter, but yeah, I like to put things back together as they were. Maybe here a bit of sellotape just to secure it in place. I believe this is just basically a little dust shield. Yep, that should do the trick. And I'll just put another piece here. Or maybe not even that, it's not really needed. And I can put the little ring back. And that's it basically. Not a very hard repair, and really not very involved. Some lenses you have to take apart the whole lens, and this one also is not really So as you can see here, you have the little arrow, and now it locks. If I press it in, I can switch to manual focus and manual focus it, or switch back to auto, and then the focusing ring locks as it should, and I can't knock it out unless I press it. Here now it's locked. If I press it, yep. Yeah, so it's a perfectly working lens again. Let me mount it on the camera. Oops. What did I do wrong? Ah, there we go. Okay. Works. Then I can just put it into manual mode, and autofocus of course isn't working. And I can override it. Nice. Yep. Splendid. Back to autofocus. Back to manual. Yep. And works as it should. So yeah, if you have these issues, I'd first look at this little spring, if it came detached. And like I said, maybe better if you still can, move it over to the other slot and melt the little posts, or use something reversible. So if you ever have to take something apart and the spring is in the way, or etc., it's removable, or you need a new spring. The spring breaks in a few years time, let's say, so you can replace it. Anyway, thanks and see you next time.